So far, none of the data for our Trello board persists across page refreshes. So if I were to update backlog here to be anything else, we'll just say backlog updated, and then refresh the page, you can see that it reverts back to backlog again. Well, let's persist our board data to local storage. That way we could at least use our board locally, and it would actually be a pretty functional Trello board. Accomplishing that is only a single function call away with view use. So up here where I'm defining our columns, instead of using the native view function called ref, let's instead call use local storage. This is provided by view use. And then the first argument that use local storage takes is the name that we want to use when defining this in local storage. I'll just call it Trello board. Excellent. And it looks like everything else can stay the same. It looks like it even takes the same generic as ref did. So we have column here defined, and that is an array of columns. So when I open this up and then hover over part of the definition, you can see that we do in fact have column defined here. If I were to try to add in anything else to this particular column that isn't defined in the column interface, then we'd get an error. Perfect. So use local storage is pretty much a drop-in replacement for ref, except that it also syncs all that data that was in the ref before to our browser's local storage. Now, if I come over to the browser, hit refresh, and then change backlog to backlog updated, when I refresh the page, it does in fact persist, and our change remains intact. Awesome. Now, if you wanted to sync this to your server, then you could probably do something like watch columns, and then whenever columns changes, you would do your AJAX request, and so on and so forth. Now, because columns is an array, you would have to pass the deep option and set it to true. We don't have a backend set up for ourselves, so I'm not actually going to code this out, but you get the idea. Everything that we're doing right here now on the front end could be fairly easily synced with the backend, and this data could be persisted not only in local storage, but also on your servers so that users could log in from any machine and access their data.